During a group bath, Zhang Xi devised an even more vicious prank. He disguised his cannon stick as a cigarette and handed it to Wei. The unsuspecting state of Wei had just ignited. A piercing explosion suddenly rang out. The violent impact knocked him hard to the ground. His whole body convulsed, foaming at the mouth. He nearly lost his life on the spot. Wei Hong was filled with grief and anger. He immediately brought Guozi to stand up for his brother. He gave this villain who looked down on the weak a harsh lesson, but no one expected. After recovering from the hospital, Wei made a move that overturned everyone's expectations. He paid out of pocket to buy a roast chicken and took the initiative to visit. He apologized and showed goodwill to Zhang Xi, who had repeatedly bullied him. Everyone thought Guo was foolish, but at this moment he finally understood. Beneath his clumsy exterior lies the simplest survival rules. He doesn't know how to hold grudges, not knowing how to confront others, resolving all grudges with a single roast chicken. Maintain the few relationships you have around you. Too many ordinary people who think they're shrewd end their lives trapped in dignity. For the sake of nothingness, they confront each other head-on, covered in wounds. In contrast, Wei appeared dull-witted. Early on they saw through the essence of survival at the bottom. They lack the confidence to resist the powerful. There is no capital to remain untouched. He used the most pragmatic and patient approach. In a small circle full of complex social dynamics, she secured a first-hand position for herself. Shedding sharp grudges and entanglements, Wei's mindset was forever stuck in the childlike stage, yet still possesses the instinctive feelings of ordinary people for beauty. She admired him for his outstanding looks. The elegant textile factory was stubbornly clinging to her mother. She insisted on going to propose marriage. His mother knew in her heart that the two were worlds apart. This bond, never possible, yet unable to withstand her son's persistence. To appease the stubborn state of Wei, he could only spend his savings and money. Inviting Dao Meiling over to his home was a casual and perfunctory gesture, but it was respectable. In the end, forcing it won't come. Dao Meiling simply didn't want to go to the meeting. He only asked a colleague to return the gift money the way it was, draw clear boundaries directly. Unwilling to give up, Wei held a large plum bouquet of sunflowers day after day. Julie waited at the textile factory entrance, but a harsh reality struck. He witnessed the girl he admired walking together with the bullying Zhang Xi. She was publicly mocked by both of them, mocking her humble affection. Crushed to the ground, after many twists and turns, he replaced the country with a cold worker. But after years of bullying and emotional suppression, his mind remained confused and rational. One work mistake caused him to accidentally lock the oil in the cold storage, which was on the verge of low temperatures. It nearly led to a fatal accident. After this accident, he completely lost his hard-earned job. When Wei Hong ended up and his oppressive family life in his original family was forced to marry far away, the parents did everything they could to arrange a marriage for the Wei state of Dalian. In the end, he married a country girl with a leg disability. Although the girl has some physical flaws, she is intelligent, shrewd, and pragmatic. He saw that the city household registration in Zhongwei State required funding from his parents-in-law. As capital, the couple moved out of the old house and started living independently. That is it. Two people, each carrying their own imperfections and regrets, leaning on a few clay pots. A small roadside stall supports each other, living steadily and forcibly managing a life that ended in hardship.
The scene was bustling with smoke and fire. Fatty, remember, Serdo didn't get enough of the exam. Only Anne respected you. And you respected Anne.
Time passes, and the years change. Once arrogant and domineering, he recklessly bullied Wei, but life repeatedly tormented him. Long since retired, last year's lacking tools and pride left him at a dead end. He brought his pregnant wife to seek help. He asked to borrow money from Wei, which had long been living a peaceful life. Facing former enemies, Wei did not choose to kick them when they were down. Without any leniency, he quietly brought out a heavy cardboard box. The box was neatly arranged with cigarettes, all the ones Zhang Xi had used to trick her back then, controlling the object that enslaves him. Smoke and cigarettes are displayed before my eyes. Zhang Xi was instantly delighted. His tone was overwhelmed with shame, the highest form of revenge in this world. It was never a fight of fists and feet and verbal disputes. He endured for the country for years, quietly storing all the evidence of humiliation. Though they seem gentle and magnanimous, in reality, they have long remembered all the past hurts of the times. The great wave of fleeing the world is the most satirical of those who oppress the weak. Someone who thinks he is smart. In the end, life backfires on us, falling into the dust. A destitute, down and out fool, seen by the world as foolish and useless, with pure steadiness and mutual redemption, taking root steadily, preserving the everyday life of life. If Wei was the eldest son favored by his family, but whose fate was full of hardships, the third brother, Wei Qiang, is the most transparent and repressed in this oppressive family. The most oppressed victim. Parents will owe their eldest son the regret. All his hopes for life were placed entirely on Wei Qiang. She placed all her hopes of getting into university and bringing honor to her family on him. Extreme hope turned into extreme oppression. Having lived under high pressure and prejudice for years, Wei Chang's personality grew increasingly gloomy and inferiority, sensitive and paranoid. On a rainy afternoon, Wei Guo's younger brother Mao Yu, who was thinking about the school, went to the school to deliver umbrellas. But amid the crowd of classmates watching and jeering, Wei Chang felt utterly humiliated. To sever the awkward family bonds and escape others' ridicule, he publicly snatched the umbrella. He stabbed fiercely at the kind-hearted Jingji. This sibling conflict caused both siblings to be punished by their mother to kneel all afternoon. The resentment and repression deep in my heart grow heavier and more persistent and long-lasting inferiority. Wei Chang became accustomed to wrapping his embarrassed background with lies, trying to pretend to be respectable in front of classmates, but the false shell eventually shatters. His lies were exposed in public. The guest table was stuffed with filthy trash, and he became the laughingstock of the entire school. Only the gentle and kind desk mate, the girl, quietly helped tidy up the messy guest table. Wei Qiangkou, who lacks love and is sensitive, mistook this kindness for a heart-fluttering affection. The courage to pursue it was met only with the girl's blunt contempt and mockery.
How will you keep going? You'll only want to tune the song more and more. You think I'm good to you. I'm searching for trash, because I see you as pitiful.
One humiliation after another completely twisted his mindset. He was unwilling to admit his own weakness and incompetence, taking all the hardships of life, humiliation and unbearability. It was all blamed on the presence of the foolish big brother. Resentment and hatred breed evil thoughts, and in the deep of night, he bought rat poison and quietly poured it into Wei's water cup. He wanted to end it completely. This embarrassment, fortunately, he had already seen through it. Wei Hong, who was suppressing the family entanglements, noticed in time and secretly poured out the poisoned water. It resolved the tragedy of fragrant siblings, and the young man's fierce and obsessive moment. All of this was seen by her father, who was silent outside the door. The next morning, the mother never scolded or hit her children for their mistakes. He only took the remaining poison in front of the whole family. Water was forcibly poured into the mouth of the big white goose at home. Vibrant life surged violently in an instant convulsions. Sudden death. The death of the big white goose is the most shocking part of the entire film. The most profound metaphor. Parents do not need to speak or preach. Only the withering of a single life. Let Wei Chang, Wei Hong witnessed firsthand the destruction brought by malice and extremism. Wei Chang had no ill intentions at heart and was out of balance, favoritism, a suffocating atmosphere. The ridicule from others gradually drove him into obsession and cruelty, harboring evil intentions. But the last straw that broke Wei Chang came from his father's extreme denial. My father happened to be by chance. He rummaged through his backpack and found a handbook on human figure sketches and physiology. The hope for his son to succeed was completely shattered, and the anger he had built up over the years erupted completely. He shouted and shouted, attracting neighbors to become officials, publicly exposing and humiliating his son, personally tearing apart the cautious pride of Wei Chang. It also severed his last trace of attachment to this family. Heartbroken, Wei Chang took Lin Qian, who had just been a minor part of the family, and walked alone into the cinema. After watching a movie full of laughter and tears, from then on, he completely disappeared into the small town where the whole family was trapped. He hid in a nursing home not far from home, working odd jobs to make a living. She struggled to survive until Guozi and her sister unexpectedly discovered her. To avoid being taken back to that suffocating family of origin, he climbed onto the train overnight. Alone, I journeyed far away to a distant land. From then on, he wandered aimlessly. Not a single year has passed. Years later, the stomach war returns home. He no longer resembles his youthful self. Sunglasses covered his face, lazy and carefree. No one knew he was accompanied by a divorced woman raising a child. Over the years, she has experienced countless ups and downs outside. The cold and warmth are extremely bitter. Only the attentive father noticed a missing part of her finger. Upon his return, he was completely reduced to a cripple in the secular sense. He calmly let his wife work at nightclubs to support the family. He stayed home all day playing chess, taking care of his child to pass the time. The pride, unwillingness, longing, and passion of youth. It had long been worn out by years of wandering and oppression, completely gone. The lives of the Gao children each have their own broken moments and regrets, experienced failures. Marriage is a lifelong commitment. Wei Hong returned to his homeland. In the noisy market, I reunited with my youth. Let him get close to everything, yearning for the Scaramouche who amazed all his youth. But time has long worn away all the romance. The once upright and dazzling youth has long since become rough, warning bearded man with a cross, rude behavior. He not only completely forgot the Wei Hong, who adored him deeply, he was still with his sister, who had enlisted through connections. In an instant, youthfully, all burning obsessions and shattered dreams were all shattered. Wei Hong forced the stinginess in his eyes and forced a smile. He turned and squatted in front of the vegetable store, looking at the crisscrossing of the fruit skin, irreparable cracks, he finally shed all his disguises and broke down in tears. His tearful love has never been just a secret love that ends with endless mourning. He wept bitterly at his ideals, crushed by reality, weeping bitterly. The youth that ends in tears, struggling to escape his whole life, yet he could never escape the prison of fate throughout his life. The film's final chapter falls amid a snowstorm. Heavy snow fell everywhere, the chill penetrates completely. In the human world, the three Gao siblings each brought their own companions. Children gather in front of the peacock dragon at the zoo. A few people quietly helped, full of anticipation. The stunning moment of the peacock spreading its tail can be enjoyed from start to finish. The peacock at Longzhong remains silent, helping without any movement. Within the vast cage, the dazzling, unparalleled Weiyu blooms in its utmost splendor. Life is like the peacock in a cage, brilliant at its peak, never defined by others, nor did he cater to the expectations of the world. Those dazzling moments are rare and fleeting. There are too many that can be encountered, but not sought. Beauty and grandeur, often hidden in unnoticed corners, waiting for Xu's gaze without waiting for the deadline, nor can they hold on to the burning moments. This is the truest and most genuine, the most helpless life of all.